Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. Today is 6/5/2018. That's June 5th. I had my eye out for today. I was hoping it would be a news day, and I gotta tell you, I am not disappointed. Big booms. I don't want to count them. I think there might be 4 here. I'm going to go over what I found today. A lot of this is breaking news. There isn't a ton of details about it yet, but this stuff is really, really big. So number one, Facebook gave data access to a Chinese firm flagged by U.S. intelligence as a major threat. The company is this company right here, this Huawei, Huawei. They had been flagged as an American national security threat. Here's some background about it. So if you have been tracking this, Trump kind of already took them offline. So they banned them. We've been talking about this for like a year or two now. We warned the American public not to use these cell phones. So it looks like, if you kind of read between the lines and you agree with what other people have said, it looks like they were a threat. Trump cleaned them up. And now it looks like Facebook hung themselves over this. So Zuckerberg lied to Congress about it. And this tracks all back to the Cambridge Analytica stuff, which, the best part about all these stories, if you haven't figured this out by now, is that Trump uses himself as bait to open up larger investigations about things that are nefarious. It's him playing a game, just like the Mueller investigation. The Mueller investigation was supposed to target him and this Russia collusion stuff. But the only things that they have found and prosecuted so far are Israeli spies inside of Trump's campaign, among other things. So every time, it's like rubber and glue. It looks like the media is going to throw this at Trump, and somehow it bounces off of him and it sticks to something else over on the Democrat side, the globalist side, the Zionist side, whatever you want to call it, okay? But all roads lead back to Israel. So this was outstanding. It looks like Zuckerberg lied to Congress. Some people are trying to talk about whether or not he was under oath. I'm guessing that he wasn't, okay? But they're going to be brought back in. There will be more questions to be answered here. This is gigantic. Andy McCabe now is seeking immunity for congressional testimony. This is breaking news right now. Now, there was a secret memo that was released, or it wasn't released, but the news was released on May 31st about Andy McCabe writing a secret memo. It looks like it was a CYA move, cover Andy's butt kind of move that has to do with the firing of James Comey. And this is now tied back into a hearing on handling of a Clinton email probe. Big stuff. Now, what's great about this is tomorrow, okay, this is more breaking news from a press release just listed 24 hours before an open court hearing. But tomorrow, Judicial Watch is going to have a federal court hearing on June 6th ordered for emails between Peter Kadzik, John Podesta, and the Clinton campaign officials. It's scheduled for tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's in courtroom 12. You can find it here. It's at 333 Constitution Avenue Northwest. If you're in the Washington, D.C. area, please go see this. I would love to be a fly on the wall in this courtroom. I'm going to drop this in there just so you can see what I was talking about. So Fox News ran an article last week. Secret McCabe memo in Mueller's hands gives details of Comey's firing. So I'll move on. This lady has had way too much plastic surgery, by the way. It was kind of difficult to watch her talk. All right, moving on though. This happened today. Secret Service arrests White House contractor with an outstanding warrant for murder. I wish I was making this up. I don't know how this guy popped up. Maybe they lost track of him. I don't know. I would imagine there's multiple security layers between White House contractors and Trump. I don't think that he was ever in danger, but there was a warrant issued for first-degree murder dated May 17th. So this has been out for like 2 to 3 weeks now. This guy just showed back up on the radar. He was caught at a checkpoint. His name's Martise Edwards. Again, White House contractor, has an outstanding warrant for attempted murder. Could be nothing, could be something. I just thought it was very, very interesting. This is breaking news. I'm sure we'll learn more about it over the next day or two. Which brings us to the really, really good stuff. And this stuff is super juicy, and I'm telling you, you're going to hear lots more about this. So over the last few weeks, we've been learning about all these spies that were embedded in the Trump campaign for president. And Mike Flynn ties into some of this stuff. I think Mike Flynn set these people up. That's just my initial guess. This is the first guy that was outed. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is the professor. Okay, his name is Stefan Halper. And it looks like he was busted for possession of crack cocaine back in 1995. Now, the interesting part is that they're admitting here that says court documents reveal that Stefan Halper, the CIA asset who set up Carter Page and George Papadopoulos for FBI surveillance, was busted for crack cocaine possession, among other charges, in 1994. Now, I'm guessing that they used, the CIA, used this moment to turn him into an asset, and then likely he's just been on the payroll since then. He was probably activated at the time, used to approach Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. That's what it looks like. Now, yesterday, George Papadopoulos' wife went on Tucker to beg President Trump to pardon her husband, George Papadopoulos, who pleaded guilty last year in the special counsel Robert Mueller's probe. Now, Trump can't pardon anybody attached to this thing. It will look, even if he needs to, okay, the visuals, the optics will look really, really bad at midterms, which are coming up. And these midterms are probably the most important midterms we've ever had in the country. Since Trump has been doing phenomenal, we have a great economy working. Okay, people have jobs again. It looks like everything's starting to heat up. We're going after trade deals. We're trying to neutralize external threats. The MAGA agenda, okay, is firing on all 8 cylinders right now. We are kicking butt. And if you watch mainstream media, you might lose track of that. So just understand, we are kicking ass right now. The MAGA is on full steam ahead. And this was released today. It says that blue wave you guys were talking about is about to become a red flood. So what they're saying was there's this, there was a neutral, generic polling that gave Democrats an 18-point lead that has evaporated since the Trump tax cuts kicked in. People are more optimistic now than they have been in a very, very long time. So we're about to have a huge amount of support from both sides of the aisle, I think. And we're not stopping there, man. We're not stopping there. Trump is running the Mueller investigation. Let me make that real clear. Okay? They use the Mueller investigation to target Trump, but everything they go after discovers deep ties to all kinds of stuff that we needed to get rid of. So this was the entry into like the matrix or the funnel system, whatever you want to call it. Everything Mueller goes after works out in our favor. So understand that. Now, we have just discovered a giant spy operation. I covered it in a previous video, depending on which one I uploaded first. But this place is called Wikistrat. It's run by this guy named Joel Zamel. He is an Israeli, Australian Israeli. And they're running a spy ring essentially. They call it a social media, but it's geostrategy, geostrategic analysis, and business consultancy founded in Israel in 2010 and headquartered in the United States. Now, the headquartered in the United States part, that's a little misleading because really it's headquartered in Tel Aviv. They just have, quote, business development operations in Washington, D.C. And they approached Mike Flynn to be on the board or the steering committee, or whatever you want to call it. You can read more about this. I'm sure you're going to hear more about it in the future. I was talking about this, so I'll leave you the link here if you want to read about it, but it talks about how they approached Donald Trump Jr. for it. And if you remember, I mean, they tried to get Donald Trump Jr. involved in this stuff months ago. But now that the tree has been shaken pretty good, all kinds of stuff has fallen out of it, and it all links back to Israel. This is an article in Haaretz. This is Jewish news, but they call it an Israeli social media expert, but it's not. It's geopolitical strategy. I'm going to carry on here. There's not a lot to talk about. This thing, though, this article puts it all together. All right, so it turns out, and this article puts together very good evidence that Robert Mueller is in fact an anti-Semite who has targeted Israel in the past for things that Israel didn't do. Now, this is going to be very problematic if this hits the mainstream media. So, if you're looking for a way to paint this guy into a corner, anti-Semitism is the way to do it. You need to start calling Robert Mueller an anti-Semite as much as possible on social media, as much as possible, as quick as possible. You need to get ahead of this, okay, because the dam is about to break in this Mueller investigation. And if it turns out that he does in fact implicate some Israeli organizations, individuals, or businesses, or even the Israeli government, it's going to look terrible, okay? The only way to get this guy, to neutralize this guy, is to call him an anti-Semite as much as possible, as quick as possible, on as many social media sites as you can get your hands on. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube comments, Instagram, Tumblr, whatever you can think of, okay? Robert Mueller is in fact an anti-Semite. And this article really brings it all together. So I'm going to skip over some stuff. He's trying to call George Papadopoulos an Israeli spy, okay? He's trying to call out Mike Flynn's connections with Israel. That's probably not true. He's trying to really signal that Jared Kushner in Israel might be a problem. And here's the flashback. So I'll read through some of this quickly. It says that back in the day, Robert Mueller tried to tempt Jews to betray the United States. Mueller's suspicion of Israel and Jews as a whole go back to his early days as the FBI director. In 2004, the Mueller FBI alleged that a massive Israeli spy ring was operating out of the Pentagon. The shockwaves were felt throughout the intelligence community, and it was followed by a whole bunch of editorials painting Israel as a nefarious actor seeking to undermine the United States. But it turned out later that the allegations were completely false. They used the word bogus. There was no Israeli spy ring. Okay, the troubling part here is that he used all of this to set up an operation. It was botched. And that elements of the U.S. intelligence agencies remained attached to anti-Semitism. So Robert Mueller is possibly an anti-Semite, and it's possible that he is going directly after Israel. So if you are a staunch pro-Israel ally, it is extremely important to paint this guy as an anti-Semite as quick as possible. People need to know about his background as quick as possible. They need to understand his background as quick as possible because no one remembers this. So you need to dig. Okay, you need to dig, and you need to go point everybody at this as quick as possible. Because 1 year into the Mueller probe, his special counsel has yet to find any evidence for a grand Israeli plot. And if he does come up with evidence, it's going to look really bad. That's all I got for now. Today was 6/5. It's a huge news day. I'm Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.